Today we are gonna make something that I'm so excited about because it's from my childhood and it's so simple to make. It's called shrimp butter, which sounds kind of ridiculous, but it's awesome. We're just gonna start with cooking the shrimp because that takes a minute. I have halved these shrimp, if you can see, because I think that they end up cooking faster and they're easier. You're gonna end up using however much shrimp you want, but we're gonna just kind of throw in what we have because I like to just get things cooking. Shrimp butter is kind of one of the most awesome things. I grew up in Charleston and you see it a lot, but I also saw it recently on a trip to France where they made scallops in the shrimp butter and it was awesome. So it's really one of those things that is super versatile. You can keep it in your fridge, you can keep it in your freezer, and it just adds like this extra layer of flavor. We are going to put it on toast today. We're gonna make kind of like a shrimp butter toast, but you can use it anywhere. So what you're gonna wanna do is peel, devein, cut in half, some shrimp. You want to get a good quality shrimp here because not only because farm shrimp is not environmentally sound, but also because when you're doing something where the star is just the butter, if you don't have a good shrimp, how can you expect the entire thing to be good? So we're starting with really good shrimp here. We've put a pan on high heat with a little bit of oil. You want to use an oil like a canola oil so that it can stand up to that high heat, because the heat piece of this is really important. So you're gonna wanna just, cook these, get them nice and pink. Shrimp are one of those things that you really have to be careful with because a good shrimp is just cooked. You don't wanna overcook shrimp as they get really, really tough. So you wanna really pay attention here and make sure that you're getting just pink on both sides. And what we're actually gonna do is divide and conquer. You only need half a cup of shrimp for the butter, and you want to take those off and actually let them cool. So as you kind of find pieces that are done, I'm just going to put them in my cup here because you don't want this to be scorching hot when you put it in the butter. Otherwise, you're going to kind of cook the butter a little more than intended. So we're doing a half cup of butter to a half cup of shrimp, and we're going to let the rest keep cooking. What you want to do with these shrimp is they're going on top of the toast that we're making. So if you're just making the butter and not the toast, don't worry at all. But we're cooking off some extra ones here because we want to make a toast that's like extra super buttery. So we can see as long as both sides are pink here, you should be good. If you're nervous, like my sister gets really nervous, you can always cook them a little bit longer. We're gonna set these aside. You're gonna put your shrimp in here and you're gonna blend this up before you blend the butter. Why? With butter, when you're blending it, you don't want it to get too hot, and especially the higher quality of blender you have, the more you can heat things up. So we wanna really start by putting in our shrimp. We're gonna add one other item in here, just 1 clove of garlic. Sometimes you'll see shrimp butter recipes where they are cooking garlic and they're cooking onions and doing all that. And I just find like that's an extra step you don't need. If you use 1 clove of garlic uncooked, it adds a lot of that garlicky flavor without having to do as much work. And it also gives it a little bit of spiciness because it's not cooked. So we're just gonna pulse this. Easy, and you can see that's very simple. Then we're gonna add our half cup of butter. You want this to be totally softened. You want to take it out of your fridge. You don't want it to melt, but you do want it to be soft. I also like to add half a lemon just to give it a little bit of acidity. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. That's just a personal preference. Depending on how much butter you've used and whether it's salted or not, you can also add a little bit of salt. I like to start with unsalted butter because then you can taste as you go. You can always add with salt, but you can't take it away. So now we're gonna make sure that our blender is not on a high setting because again, you don't wanna wreck your butter here. And again, you wanna use a good butter because the quality, it's really just shrimp and butter is all that we're happening here. So I'm gonna let that go. And you might need to use a spatula to kind of push it down and make sure that it really gets in there. You want to totally combine all of the ingredients here, so it's important to let it go, but not too fast. Now we're just gonna kind of keep pushing it down, making sure that everything combines. And again, you're gonna have a little bit of liquid in there as well from the lemon juice, so So you just want everything to combine really nicely. But again, take your time. It doesn't have to go too fast. You know, you don't want to like get fed up and turn your blender all the way up. So once you've got your shrimp butter all at the ready, and you can see it's just this beautiful consistency. It's really like butter. So now we're ready to put it on our toast. And again, this is the part where you can stop. You can put this in the fridge. You want to taste it. See if it has enough salt. You can add a little more salt. Can't take it away. But here we're just gonna make some really pretty little shrimp toasts. And you know, you can be as aggressive or not with this. You know, some people like to do shrimp butter with cream cheese, which is another good idea if you're somebody who likes to really like lather it on. I sometimes think like you can never have too much of a good thing. I'm gonna just put a tiny bit of arugula on them because like I think that the peppery nature of arugula goes really well. You know, when you're doing anything with butter, like a heavy butter sauce, you want something to cut it. And that's where the acid of the lemon comes in, but I think also, you know, the peppery nature of arugula does that too. And then now we're just gonna add our little shrimps on top. This is great for a party. It makes for a great appetizer, or it's just a good lunch to have if you're just kind of in the mood for some shrimp butter. So there you go. These are my shrimp toasts using shrimp butter. They're exciting for any occasion, and honestly, just like digging into a pile of butter makes me very happy, so I hope it makes you happy as well. Thanks for watching.